This is TWiT.
I am excited about this whiskey of the week.
Yes. We'll call this the MVP series, right? Because these are all the whiskeys that I got while I was at the MVP Summit.
Somebody brought you something nice, this looks like.
This is from fellow MVP John White from Hawaii, and it's called the 12th Hawaii Distillers Distiller Reserve. And so a little bit about Hawaii. We should probably do this. So this, if you weren't keeping track, there's 137 islands in the Hawaiian chain.
What? Wow.
It's more than you think. Most of them, of course, uninhabited. There are 8 main islands, and really we're just going to talk about one, the big one, Hawaii itself. It is,
which is not where Honolulu is, or any of the big city stuff. That's Oahu.
That's Oahu. This is Hawaii proper, which is the 3rd largest Polynesian island.
Oh.
Which begs the question, what are the first 2? The first 2 are the North and South Islands of New Zealand.
Well,
they're all considered Polynesian islands.
And is that where all of the Polynesian diaspora came from originally, was New Zealand, do you think?
No. In fact, the Polynesians got to Hawaii before they got to New Zealand and became the Maori. There's pretty clear evidence that the Polynesians arrived in the Hawaiian Islands in the 1100s and they didn't get to New Zealand until the 1300s.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They were a seafaring tribe, though.
They were, and traveled absolutely everywhere. There's an argument that they made it all the way to South America, and the genetics seem to support that.
Wow. Do they know where they originated?
The original Polynesian islands are adjacent to the Philippine Sea in that area in Indonesia. All of those smaller islands there.
It's very cool.
It's amazing and extraordinary people navigating with simple products. They had the chicken.
They brought the chicken with them.
And they brought the chicken with them. They spread the chicken around. And one argued that they also were the reason that pineapple propagated as far as it has. But that's getting into really old history. The big Hawaiian island is not heavily populated because it has massive volcanoes on it, including Kilauea, which has been erupting since 1983. And you go to watch that volcano do its thing. Mauna Loa, which is the largest volcano on Earth, is actually the largest mountain on Earth. If you measure from the sea floor to its top, it's bigger than Everest. And it's more than half of the total Hawaiian island of Hawaii itself. Supposedly, the island is named for the legendary Polynesian navigator Hawaiialoa, who supposedly discovered the island. And like I said, I mentioned in the 1100s. And it was run as a kingdom, more or less, for centuries. The first Europeans to arrive was likely James Cook in the 1700s, who also died there in an altercation with the natives, although ultimately the crew was able to settle things up and leave successfully. And then, of course, in 1898, it was annexed by the United States as a territory. Hawaii, and in 1959, became the 50th state. So while it's the biggest island by a long way, it's more than 60% of the total mass of all of the islands combined. Only about 13%, about 200,000 people live on that island. Really in 2 main population centers, Hilo in the east, which is the island capital, and sort of the rainy part of the island. And then on the west is Kalawakona on the slopes of one of the volcanoes. And that is where the distillery is. So the 12th Hawaiian distiller is called that because it is the 12th distillery built on the Hawaiian Islands.
It's funny,
and the first one on Kona since the 1950s.
You don't think of whiskey in Hawaii.
Nor should you.
Breath.
And we can debate whether this is whiskey at all.
Oh.
So Dave Puckett created it. He was actually comes from a family of distillers, but didn't want to be a distiller. He actually worked in construction his whole life, living a big chunk of it in Hawaii. And as he was getting close to retirement age, started experimenting with distillation in the early 2010s.
Oh, it's brand new.
And only set up the shop licensed in 2017.
Oh.
Now, is this whiskey? It sure looks like whiskey, doesn't it? Except that it is honey.
What? It's really mead.
This is mead. You're exactly right. This is distilled mead. So really what they would call Honeyshine. So arguably, we are talking about the very original alcohol. Because if you take honey and you heat it up to a certain amount, not particularly hot, maybe 120 degrees or so, with a lot of water, maybe typically you want to mix 5-to-1 water, that helps break down the honey and suspend the sugars properly so that it can be digested by yeast, but you have to cool it down a bit. And if it 120, it would kill the yeast off. You need to be about 95, 90, and the yeast will propagate and ferment. Because in the end, all of these alcohols are made by a yeast consuming sugar. The question is, what is the sugar source? In this case, honey is one of the original sugar sources. So there's evidence now that evidence of a naturally occurring alcohol by water and honey being combined with yeast going back 20,000 years.
Wow.
Before agriculture, before even pottery.
Yeah.
We had some forms of alcohol in this way. There are documents from China from 7,000 BC showing making a form of mead out of honey and water and rice. And of course, Pliny the Elder wrote about his preferred drink being a form of mead in ancient Greece, and played a big role in early England as well, particularly around in Wales. In fact, when you research mead for a little while, you find out there's over 100 names for a honey beer, a mead type thing, because so many cultures developed it themselves in so many ways.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't.
Of names.
I mean, Hawaii's known for sugarcane.
It is now, but it also had its own set of bees, and so had a lot of honey available to it, which begs the question: why isn't mead and honey-related liquors more popular than they are today? And there's a pretty simple reason for it. Because the sugar cane and grains are cheaper and easier to grow. Honey is an inconsistent product. In the end, it's bee vomit, and bees are fairly difficult to manage. They don't produce when you want them to produce. They only make so much. They can abruptly die, and their product is inconsistent. So making a consistent product from honey is very challenging. And so as soon as we had simpler ways to do it, we did. And so that's why you just don't see a whole lot of it around. That being said, this is what 12th Hawaii does. And actually, they make a set of products. So their sort of root product is true Honeyshine, which is a honey ferment made with yeast that's passed 4 times through their still, which is a kind of column still. And that's it. It's not that particularly sweet, but it is a 50% alcohol. It's a moonshine, essentially, but it's called Honeyshine. You take that same product made that same way and you combine it with a bit of Kona coffee, so domestically grown coffee, and you get their Kona coffee spirit.
Oh, now I'm interested. That sounds good.
And then
like
they
Kahlua.
make a vodka. So their vodka is, again, the same approach, but a 7-time distilled, so a much higher alcohol, combined with a local purple potato, which is some of the original Peruvian type potatoes, to make a distinctive vodka. And then the 4th product is this Distiller's Reserve. So back to the Honeyshine, but when they were making it, they switched to a whiskey yeast, which has a bit of a stronger flavor. And then what really made it whiskey-ish is they age it in Kiawe wood, which is a domestic wood of Hawaii. Actually, no, it's an invasive wood. It's originally from South America.
Most of the stuff on Hawaii I found out is invasive. It's not native.
It's pretty invasive. And so it was brought from South America in the 19th century. It's pretty much adapted to Hawaii. They're not trying to eliminate it anymore. But it's not an oak. It's actually a cousin of mesquite.
Huh.
And so Kiawe wood is very popular as a smoking wood.
Right.
But if you get the bigger trees, you can cut barrels from it. And that's what they're doing at the 12th Hawaii Distillers Reserve, is they're making domestic barrels, which they toast very much the same style as a bourbon barrel and then do aging with it.
So they make a Honeyshine, which is clear. Is the only difference between the Honeyshine and the whiskey the barrels?
And they use a different yeast.
A whiskey yeast. Yeah.
So different yeast. And
does that give it a different character?
The yeast plays a role, right?
Yeah.
Remember, generally, if the sugars are all digested, which typically they are by the bacteria, you don't have a lot of sweetness there. In fact, often in traditional meads, they'll add additional honey after the fact.
Because it doesn't taste like honey. Yeah.
There's no sweetness left there.
Yeah.
Now having a taste of this, so it smells like bourbon. It's sweet, right? You would swear it's corn. It's got that same kind of sweetness. And it is 45% alcohol, but really no burn on the mouth at all. It still smells sweet and tasty. There's a little spice to it. That's got to be wood. It's a different
That's the mesquite.
Kind of,
sure.
It's not the oak wood. Yeah. It's got that kind of interesting wood flavor to it. It heats up as it goes down. So you've definitely drank something. Again, at 45%, it's not incredibly high. But this is really cool. This is a neat drink. There's two problems with it. The first is it's $85.
Oh,
The second is it is available nowhere outside of the Hawaiian Islands.
awesome.
You've got to go
or go to the
Hawaii
MVP Summit. Yeah.
to get a bottle of this. So
that's awesome.
The bottle I've got that John brought back for me, and thank you so much, John. I'm really delighted with this, is batch 34, and it's handwritten on the bottle. So I don't think that's a fake print. I think they just don't make that much of this. Apparently they have an awesome tour. It's well worth going.
I want to go to the Big Island. We haven't
go
been
to
there.
the Big Island.
Yeah,
go to Kona, which is where you want to go anyway. Take in the nice weather, and I think you should take a little spin by. If you're lucky, you're going to bump into the distiller there, and
Dave.
To see Dave, and then go home with a bottle of Distiller's Reserve. You'll not be disappointed. And the fun I would have with this, my intent with this, is to feed it to my whiskey knowledgeable friends, because I defy you to think this is honey.
Wow.
It's
how
so
cool is that?
Yeah, it's just so bourbony, like you can't even imagine.
Oh, love it. That looks like a real treat.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted to try something new, to have spent time reading about mead production and just sort of dig into this oldest of the alcohols, which only makes sense because you need the sugar to produce the alcohol, and it's the original sugar.
I might want to try the coffee spirits, and I've got to try Honeyshine because I just wonder what that tastes like.
You might want to just come home with one of each.
Okay, you sold me. Richard Campbell, thank you for another great treat. Wow, look at this.
I like the direction this whole thing's going, where people are now bringing me things I've never heard of, and I get to go tell the story.
Isn't that great?
Be blown away.
Oh, the joys. Now, if they ever make an avocado whiskey, I hope you'll let me know.
There's a lot of sugar in there.
It's a little bland. It's also curiously green.
Yeah. Richard Campbell is at runasradio.com. That's where he hangs his hat and his podcasts, including Run As Radio and .NET Rocks with Carl Franklin. And if you're at a summit and you happen to have a bottle of something interesting, bring it to him.
I will tell its story, I promise.
Hey, Mikey, he likes it.
He likes it. You don't always like it.
It's going to be you've heard me say terrible things about some bad whiskeys.
But sometimes it's good, even if it's bad, to know.
I didn't mean it like that. No, it would be fun for someone if you gave them something and then you actually liked it,
Yeah.
No, and this one wowed me. I have already tasted the one for next week, which is actually Tasmanian.
Oh.
And
well, you're going to be down under, so that's
then when I will be down under, so the timing is impeccable. I did this deliberately, but I might bump it out too if I find something while I'm in Sydney. But we'll see what happens. But it was a punch in the face. That's what I'll tell you.